We have new spells, we have new enemies, and we have new features. Welcome or welcome back. I'm ThatOneUnityDev, and I'm making a web-based RPG game full of spells, monsters, shops, and stat management. Okay, let's be real here. Slimes are cool and all, but I realized I needed something a little more challenging. So I made these guys. The goblin here is one of the early enemies you fight. He readies an arrow and after a few moments fires it towards the player. The second enemy is the beholder, or evil eye, or giant floating eyeball. Whatever you want to call it, it packs a punch. It's perfectly harmless until its eye glows red. Then, it shoots a multi-shot of projectiles aimed straight for your face. Don't worry, this bad boy spawns a few waves in, so you should be pretty beefed up by then. The third and final enemy I added is the will-o-wisp. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. How dare Risk of Rain 2 steal my creature idea? Like, it's literally a copy and paste, the audacity. Okay, with that out of the way, he opens his mouth and has a 360-degree projectile attack. Also, this little ball of cuteness spawns when the Eye Man does, so you can imagine the horror that awaits you when you get to the third wave.
One more combo! That ain't Falco! That ain't Falco!
As you can see, when you get past a certain wave, the arena changes color. This is because I implemented a few different color palettes, which swap after certain conditions are met. I plan on using these after boss fights. Yes, you heard me, boss fights. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I haven't put bosses in the game just quite yet. Moving on, let's take a look at the new spells I put in. Starting with Arcane Bolt, this is intended to be the counterpart to Fireball. The only difference between the two is their visuals and element. For Arcane Bolt, its element is electricity. Next up, we have the Dash spell, which is pretty self-explanatory. It just adds a quick jolt of speed to the player and makes them invulnerable for a few frames.
Wow.
Finally, we have two absolutely ridiculous spells. The first one is Meteor Shower. It spawns all these little particles and puts down an AoE that lasts the duration of the spell.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
It's a step up in rarity from the other two spells, which means it's more expensive to buy and to cast. The final and arguably coolest spell is Black Hole. As you would suspect, it sucks up enemies close to it and deals crazy damage.
Nice.
This is an even more rare spell than the Meteor Shower, so it costs a lot of money and mana. Speaking of rarities, yeah, I kinda redid the shop. Twice. The first time I redid the shop, I made some mistakes.
Oh my god! Wow!
I thought it would be a good idea to hide the spell you're going to buy and only reveal it after you bought it. This also came with all those new rarities I mentioned earlier. But after some playtesting a bunch and letting my friend and wife test it, we all came to the same conclusion. It was doo-doo. So I ended up scrapping that idea, keeping the rarities, and improving the UI, because I kept noticing that when we were playtesting, we would sometimes buy a spell and immediately pick it up by accident without even being able to see what it was that we just bought. So with those changes, this is the final result. I really like how it looks, and I'm glad I tried new things, even though they failed, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have landed on this design. Moving on from the shop, I added one of my favorite mechanics in any RPG game. Pets! Pets can be tricky to add to any game, and I fought with many ideas on how I wanted to implement them. Do I have them as AI? Things you can hold? Do they follow you? Fight for you? What do you use them for? After pondering on it for basically the entire life cycle of the game so far, I ultimately decided to make them follow you and give you a passive bonus. This seemed to be the most simplistic implementation, which will allow me to make a large variety of different pets. So, after drawing a bunch of sprites and writing some follow logic, pets were now implemented into the game. Oh wait, they don't do anything.
Emotional, damn it!
Okay, after writing some pet logic and making them add attributes, pets were now implemented into the game. Oh wait, we can't obtain them. Which leads us to the pet shop.
I want a dog. I want kitties. I want a whole pet shop. Who has the room?
The littlest pet shop, that's who.
Aw.
Every littlest pet shop pet comes with a home of its own.
I knew I wanted to make the pets cost money and be a random occurrence in the game. So I created an offshoot space in the shop area and started setting up shop. I created this cool little merchant guy, added in some crates, barrels, and what the hell is that? Next, I added in a couple pillows for the pets to spawn on, repurposed my shop code, and now you can buy whatever little furry friend your heart desires. For those of you interested, here's a graphic of what each pet does. To wrap up the pet trader, I wanted to make it a random occurrence like I mentioned earlier. So I added in a door that randomly opens or closes whenever you finish a wave. But that's all I have for this devlog. I'm really happy with everything so far, and I can't believe the amount of progress we've made. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you want to keep up with the game, you can always join the Discord, where I post regular updates and footage between the videos.
Pets!